All right, Sunday Night Football. Las Vegas Raiders 16, New York Jets 12. Jets got up early, kicked a bunch of field goals. They had 9 points, or almost right off the bat. I had to make a quick run. I had to jump into the car so I was listening to the game for, about a couple plays or whatever. Mm-hmm. And the stat points scored. Like, it used to just be kicker points, you get 3, touchdowns, you get 6. I can never look at the stat. I tell you how I don't look at normal stats.
Yeah.
But they cited it on
including the points in the game?
No, like this kicker has 48 points on the year. Right? Like when you're a kid, like they'd show passing, rushing, receiving, and scoring, right?
I thought this was a weird way of telling me you didn't know what the score was.
No, I knew the score. I'm saying like season points. But they cited a stat that like Greg Zuerlein has like 71, 72 points on the season. Uh-huh. And the next closest Jet is Breece Hall with 18.
Yeah.
In other words, all their points are coming from field goals.
Yeah.
Which is
they have a historically wretched red zone offense at the moment. They're actually, it's not like they're moving the ball well, but they're moving the ball a lot better than their production would indicate, because every time they get to the red zone, they completely crap out.
Well, yeah, I was thinking that there's, not that Zach Wilson has good stats or anything, but there's definitely some games where I'm like, man, he played horribly, and then you look at the stat line and it's not near like it. The stats are way better than it felt.
Right.
There was a point in this game before he threw the pick where that was the case.
I started feeling sorry for him when he threw the pick. Remember early in the season where he had that quite good game, the one that Chris was lauding him for, and then he threw the interception and he came to the sideline and he was like, it's my fault. And you're like, yeah. I mean, I'm bummed for you, but it is like that. It is your fault. You did a lot of good in this game, and you still found a way to undo it and throw the interception and cost yourself the game. In this game, okay, it's not like he played great, but particularly late, he had a few plays that were really nice. He had one play in particular that I posted where it belonged. It would not be out of place if you inserted it into a Patrick Mahomes highlight reel.
Yeah.
He manipulated the pocket. He found space. He then leaned around a guy and sidearm fired it accurately in a no-look pass to hit a guy running across the middle. You're like, there's no difference between that and a classic Patrick Mahomes play. And he had a couple of really nice plays in that game. Even the final, not demi Hail Mary.
That was an impressive play. That was actually a fun Hail Mary to watch, both sides.
So he got out of that. That looked dead. Immediately, the Raiders get some pressure on him. You're like, oh, forget it. The game over. He's rolling to the wrong side. You're like, not a chance Zach Wilson makes this play. He not only evades the pressure, he throws a little move on, was it Max Crosby, I assume, chasing him down? Throws a little move on Crosby to get away from him and buy him just enough time to be able to kind of set his feet and get the ball where it needed to go. And he put it in the end zone, and 2 different Jets had the best chance at it, and they kind of took it away from each other. But, he had multiple plays where he actually did a really good job, and yet you also had the big turnover, and that's the reason you lost the game.
Yeah, it did. I mean, he had a no-look pass in there as well. In addition to
the other no-look pass? This was...
The one you said was... So there was a scramble left Hail Mary. There was another scramble left or right, whatever. There was a scramble pass down the field.
Yeah.
And then there was just a no-look, 8-10 yarder.
That's the one I was talking about. It's where he manipulates the pocket, then sort of gets his way out of a guy that's in his way, fires it sidearm around him, but no-look sidearm.
Oh, so the other one I was thinking, I thought you were talking about the one where it was, so he had multiple good plays.
That's what I'm saying. There's
there was another one where he got the ball down the field on the final drive.
Yeah.
Before the
there were
second.
There was at least 3, maybe 4, very, very high level Zach Wilson plays in this game.
But
the kind of plays.
The struggle was Dalvin Cook's wide open in the flat.
Yeah.
He airmails him.
Right. But
or he misreads the stick and throws the interception.
But a lot of his career, this would have made sense as his career, right? Where a guy whose highlight reel at BYU was littered with insane plays, and the question was what happens when he's under more pressure and yada yada. This would make sense if this was his career, where it's there's a bunch of really, really good plays and then a critical mistake and some misses and et cetera. But we haven't even seen this from his career. It's just been bad, everywhere. There haven't even been the crazy flashes of brilliance in there. It's just been he's not good. This game, he had the flashes of brilliance. He made some really good plays and then still just found like one awful, terrible play that rendered him bad.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt sad for him then, that like he made enough plays. He made the 3 or 4 brilliant plays that kind of deserved to win a game that was bad across the board. And then he found the way to undo it with one terrible mistake.
Well, it's uncomfortable. I mean, it's an uncomfortable watch. It's ugly on both sides. I mean, Aidan O'Connell had his rookie issues as well because he got up against the Jets defense. But it's the intrigue for me is like, okay, will he ever learn the easy stuff? Like the easy stuff has always seemed to be an issue for Wilson. And it's funny because when you hear them talk like through Aaron Rodgers, it's like the kid's just overthinking things. And it almost feels like the way he plays, it's the opposite. Like he's not just doing the simple stuff. He's actually overthinking it rather than just like, hey, it's wide open in the flat, just hit it. So yeah, I don't know. It was a rough game for Zach Wilson. Early on, he looked sharp. Dove for a touchdown that was negated, he stepped out at the 3 or whatever. It looked like Mr. Sunday Night here, this is what he did a couple weeks ago against the Chiefs, and he's going to play well in prime time. But
even that, such an unforced error. Like he stepped out when he didn't have to. Like if he just puts his foot an inch to the left, that's a touchdown, and it's a great play. But he didn't.
Man, you're such a hater. Credit the Raiders defense, though. I mean, for whatever Zach Wilson did. Robert Spillane, who Chris kept mentioning, is going to be the linchpin for this Raiders defense. The defensive rebuild per former linebacker Antonio Pierce is going to be through linebacker Robert Spillane.
And you mocked that. And then
listen, there's certain things I say off air, off the record, that aren't supposed to bring it to the show.
If you can violate on and off the record protocol with PFF Bobby, I can do it for your hating.
All I said is Bobby said they should chuck the ball a little bit. They should pass.
Well, all you said was that you'd fire Antonio Pierce on the spot. If he told you that Robert Spillane was the man he was going to build his defense around.
I am a Robert Spillane fan. There was a period of 3 or 4 games in Pittsburgh where he was their best linebacker by far, and they wouldn't put him on the field.
Yeah.
Robert Spillane fan. However, when Chris said that Antonio Pierce said that he's going to build his team around Robert Spillane and Josh Jacobs, I have my doubts.
Yeah.
That's all.
Uh-huh.
I mean, is that a fireable offense? No, because Spillane had the game-ending interception, and I was proven wrong. So
maybe it could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Like if Josh McDaniels had said that at the end, maybe that would be the thing.
Get out of my office right now.
Right.
That is a ridiculous statement.
Maybe that would be the thing that makes me make the decision. I was on the fence before this conversation, but now you've said that, we're done. Get out of here and don't come back.
It's so funny when you hear the fallout of the guy. Like they were saying, well, Josh Jacobs. They were asking Josh Jacobs which runs he wants.
Yeah.
And it was like the good old days when John Gruden was there.
Right.
They were loving it.
We got input from the players about what they would want to do in the game, and it turns out it's a miraculous impact. The other thing, remember a couple of weeks ago where the Rams watched their star quarterback injure his thumb and then dialed up a Philly special for him?
Yes.
This game, Garrett Wilson gets hurt, goes to the sideline. We watch him from the sideline for 10 minutes getting worked on with his elbow. The medical staff is pulling on it, trying to figure out what's wrong with it. They put a heating sleeve on it. They work on this elbow for 10 minutes, obviously, visibly. We focus on this. And they then call a wide receiver pass with Garrett Wilson throwing the football with his injured elbow and flutters it off the field. And you're like...
And it was open.
Yeah.
There was a touchdown to be had there.
It's like, why did we just dial this up for the guy who spent 10 minutes getting his injured throwing elbow worked on?
You're not on the sideline. You don't know if the left guard's getting whooped. You don't know this analytics.
And these are the same people who are like, nah, you see, you can't trust the numbers because the numbers can't take into effect the hundreds of things that come up in the course of the game.
Man, you don't know.
You just watched your star wide receiver have a doctor working on his throwing elbow for 10 minutes and then decided that the solution was to have him fire the football with that throwing arm.
Yeah.
That feels like an error in coaching judgment to me.
It's the next call on the sheet. We've got some examples. I'll say the game winner, though, Aidan O'Connell, rookie to rookie, Aidan O'Connell to Michael Mayer.
Yeah,
the game winner.
Great play,
beautiful throw, up and away from coverage. Nice play by Mayer, and it was the only touchdown in the game.
Mm-hmm. And then for the second week in a row, I mean, Josh Jacobs, we are just feeding the guy carries. And apparently carries that he wants to have, as opposed to whatever the hell Josh
it's the plays
McDaniels
he liked,
was dialing up,
which was good.
And they're working now.
I mean, Raiders defense playing well. Like, there's something to it, I guess. I mean, if we always joke about, like, you don't want to run the ball too much, but when you have a rookie quarterback, you also, like, Aiden O'Connell kept taking sacks, falling out of field goal range. I mean, 2-yard runs are better than taking sacks. So you're at that point where grinding the ball out with Josh Jacobs ends up becoming a pretty good play here.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those ones where we talk in very simple terms sometimes about, the average pass is better than the average run, so most teams should be passing more than they're throwing, or more than they're running. This is a game where, like, dude, that Jets defense, that Jets pass rush against a rookie quarterback in Aiden O'Connell, who has previously melted down in one of his 2, NFL starts against teams that can do that kind of thing. Like, dude, run the ball all day. They're not scoring, so it's not like you have to keep pace with an offense that's doing anything special. Run the damn ball and just don't, because the average result in a passing situation for that could well have been significantly worse than even a not particularly productive run game.
So the grinded out win here for the Raiders. And either way, I mean, Antonio Pierce, I was joking about him and Spillane and Josh Jacobs. He's got them playing hard, second week in a row. Let's also not completely overreact. They beat the Giants and the Jets the last couple weeks. But, turning things around a little bit.
And it actually was, by the way, by the numbers. Their average EPA per play on pass plays was significantly worse than their average EPA on run plays. So,
game flow wise,
intuitively, from the Raiders' perspective, it made sense to run the ball. And actually, statistically, it made sense as well.
Again, against this Jets, I think some people picked up my line from the preview show where I said, the Jets defense basically makes every offense look like a Zach Wilson-led offense, the Jets offense. That is the truth. I mean, throwing the ball against this Jets defense is really difficult. And it came down to keep it close, make one big play to Michael Mayer in the end zone, and that ends up being the difference. And again, I would say, Zach Wilson, some struggles there, but credit this Raiders defense who remained feisty all year.
Yeah.
Malcolm Kuntz had a nice strip sack in there. He's really rushed the passer well opposite Max Crosby. They've done a nice job on that side of the ball relative to, I think, what the talent that they have on that side. So Raiders move to 5-5. Jets fall to 4-5.
Big blow for their playoff hopes alive for Aaron Rodgers' mid-December return.
Mid-December was the thing that they reported, right?
That's what
he wants
said,
to try to come back.
Now I think he said that in very, that's our target. It's very optimistic, and let's see how it goes type of terms.
Yeah.